I got to the point in my career, the highest level I could get on my own, doing my own thing. So that shows me two things. One, if I had proper care and proper training, I can go way above and beyond that. And two, I have all the drive in the world. So now that I have a great coach and I have a great gym to train in, and I have good family support and my friends behind me, I don't see anything stopping me.
You mentioned the losses kind of showed you that you had to change the style up a little bit, but was there mentally, was there maybe a little overconfidence? You were just kind of breezing through all your opponents and beating everybody. Did you have to kind of lose mentally to refocus yourself?
I don't think it was overconfidence. I just think it was lack of preparation. The Bulls fight, that whole summer I was doing PR and training and in like Vegas. I was doing a lot of stuff for UFC 100, doing stuff for ESPN. I was doing a lot of traveling and things that I normally didn't do in my training camps. Before, when I was coming up, all I would do, even if I was just hard rugged training, that's all I did all day. In the morning, middle of the day, and at night. Train 3 times a day. And mentally, that prepared me when I would go into a fight. Right before you walk out, any fighter, you have the moment of you have light flash before your eyes. Your life goes behind the past 2 months. Did I train hard enough? Did I eat right? Did I sleep right? Did I do what I had to do to get ready for this fight? And every one of the answers to those questions was, I know I did more than the other guy. I know I was more ready than the other guy. I wanted more than the other guy. And the Bulls fight, before I walked out, they were about to call my name, and I thought to myself, I'm like, man, I was three weeks on the road here, 2 weeks here. I didn't hit enough. I didn't do enough pad work. I didn't wrestle enough. I didn't do this enough. That was the last thing I thought before I walked out to the cage. And I actually have a picture of that moment right before I walked out, and the look on my face was just like I can't say the word, but F-bomb. So every fighter prepares and knows before their fight that they did what they had to do to get ready for the fight. And now that I'm with Faraz and I have his specific training behind me, I know that I've done what I had to do.
You're the champion in WEC and dominant for quite a while. How do you feel you are now? You're in the UFC. You're going into your second fight here, coming off a win. But how do you feel about where your career is right now, and what are you looking for, coming forward?
I feel very happy. I feel very confident. I'm in a good place right now, mentally, physically, and emotionally. And I know I'm doing everything right. And I know with time, you're going to see a different Miguel Torres every fight. Every time you see me fight, you see a little evolution. And you guys haven't seen the big picture yet. But Faraz is painting it, so I trust him.
I think one thing that everybody's kind of, I want to say surprised, but that stood out to everyone about Demetrius was his speed. How do you deal with that? And what did you do to prepare for his speed coming in?
Well, I get asked that question a lot. As soon as they announced the fight, I was like, how are you going to deal with the speed? How are you going to deal with the speed? Mighty Mouse is so fast. And my answer is simple. How do you catch a mouse? You set a trap. I have a lot of traps for him. And may I just add that Roy Nelson's mullet is a lot sicker than mine.
Miguel, you talked about sort of the starting over process now that you're with Faraz. What is it like for you mentally, and as you think back on your career and say, you know what, I've had 50 fights, and now in the last year I've started over, kind of back to step one. How do you kind of deal with that from a mental standpoint?
I mean, mentally it makes me very happy because I know I've gotten 50 fights under my belt, doing my own thing, and now I have Faraz behind me, so it's like an overhaul. You have a real nice old car, and it has great horsepower. It looks really good, but every now and then you got to give it a complete overhaul, and that's what Faraz is doing. We're starting back from the basics. We're working on a lot of little things, and I mean, just with the 6 months that I've been there, or the 4 months from the past 2 fights, I've seen a huge difference in my style. I've never had a fight, even where I won, where I've come out of my fight and I'm completely healthy. My last 2 fights, I've come out completely healthy. My dad especially is happy because I'm coming out of a fight and I can shake his hand, not wince, and I can hold my daughter and I can do all my stuff normally. So I wouldn't call it like a starting over point. I call it like just a continuation, an evolution.
Miguel, when you talked about changing your style and going from having no style to working with Faraz, and that first fight after you did that, when you are walking out to the cage, I mean, is there a lot of nervousness because you're going out there with something brand new, and is there like nervousness that you're going to revert back to what you were and not follow this new plan that you made for yourself?
No, not at all. It's all about trust. And before my training camps, the only person I trusted was myself. I took care of everyone. I was trying to make everybody happy. I was trying to make the fans happy, the promoters happy. I was trying to make my friends and family, appreciate what I did. So I figured if I went out there and fought with all my heart and showed it in the cage, that they would appreciate me more, that people would want to respect me. It was like fighting for recognition. And once I got that recognition, I didn't know what to do anymore. I was like, okay, I was nothing and now I'm everything. So it was a big flip of a weight. The weight was all here and I was trying to make it flip over, and once it got there, I didn't know what to do with it anymore. Everything was new. It wasn't just about being the underdog. Now I was the top dog. So I didn't know how to handle that. No one in my family or my friends in my camp was ever on top like that. So I took it in stride. I tried to anyways, and just got carried away a little bit. I was doing more of everything else than just training. And now that I have Faraz, he trains some of the best fighters in the world in his gym. He has some great training partners for me, and he has a great, great coaching staff. And what he tells me, I believe in and I trust because he's been there many times.
And was there any point in that first fight where maybe you were getting hit, or there came a moment where you wanted to revert and you almost had to fight yourself and say, no, I've got to stay true to the changes I'm making?
The killer instinct's always there, but when a guy's completely, I know when he's hurt, or I know that he's ready to get finished, the killer instinct comes out. But it's the process before that, the setup point. That's what I was lacking. I had no finesse, no style. It was just all killer instinct. And, he doesn't try to repress that. He wants me to use it at the right times. It's just setting it up the right way so that I'm not putting myself in danger and everything's against my opponent. So, I have those urges a lot, but, I trust what he tells me and I have faith in the training. So, it carries over well.
Just one for you, Miguel. How do you think fans are reacting to the new Miguel style? Do you get a lot of fans come up and say, I'm happy that you won, but I wish you would get in there and mix it up like you used to? What are the fans' reactions to
I get a lot of criticism on Facebook and Twitter. It's funny because I meet guys and they're like, these keyboard warriors are like, dude, you used to know how to fight, you used to know how to box. What happened to you? I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? It was the exact opposite. Fans are gonna react the way they want to react. And at the end of the day, they pay the bills. They buy the tickets, they buy the pay-per-views. They watch the fights. But there's another side to the coin. There's my family I got to worry about. I have a daughter. I have a future after fighting. I have to take care of myself and my body. Because when you retire as a fighter and you're 35, 40, and you're busted up and you're done, people forget about you real fast. And that's the side that people don't see because they're not in the gym every day. They're not sweating. They're not bleeding. They're not hurting. And, I'm 30 years old now. I've had knee surgeries, my hand broken a couple of times, my face is all cut up. I've been through a lot. I've seen a lot. And now I'm starting to train smart. And when I thought I could train and fight for 3 or 4 more years, I can go another 10 years if I really wanted to. So it's just, I like everything now because now everything's more in my favor. I'm looking after myself and my family. And the fans are going to have to appreciate it because the wins are going to come one way or another.